This is honestly something I never thought I'd be saying, but it really looks like the Indiana Fever have chosen Lexie Hull over Kelsey Mitchell. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend we know every detail behind the scenes, because we don't. But based on everything that's come out, it feels pretty clear what's happening. Kelsey Mitchell has basically made it known she's not taking anything less than a max deal next season. And honestly, that's fair. Money matters. Of course it does. Now, when you look at Lexie Hull signing a 2-year deal worth around $800,000 next year, that tells you everything you need to know. The Fever simply can't afford Kelsey Mitchell anymore. It's not one of those situations where you can just shuffle contract around and make it work. That's not reality here. It just doesn't fit. Because on top of that, you've still got to pay Aaliyah Boston. Now, I'm not saying she's getting a supermax, but she's not going to take some massive discount either. Even if she did something like a Kelsey Plum-style deal and left money on the table, it still wouldn't be enough to make the numbers work for Mitchell. And that's where roster construction really comes into play. When people talk about big threes, they don't always understand how those are actually built. Take the Atlanta Dream, for example. The reason they can stack talent is because they filled the rest of their roster with players on minimum deals. Backup point guards, wings, bigs, cheap contracts across the board. Same thing with the New York Liberty. Their core players might be making big money, but almost everyone else is on minimum deals. And on top of that, players are willing to take pay cuts to be there. Why? Because it's New York. It's a winning organization. There's brand value. There's exposure. Indiana doesn't have that same pull. And that's the real issue here. The Fever are paying for size, and size is expensive. Meanwhile, teams like Atlanta are getting that same size production on minimum contracts. That flexibility is everything. The Fever had another option. They could have given Lexie Hull a 1-year deal, something like what Sophie Cunningham got, and try to stay flexible. Maybe then you work the margins, find cheaper role players, and keep the door open for Mitchell. But that requires strong scouting. That requires finding hidden gems, especially overseas. And that's not something this organization has been good at. Building through the margins is hard. It's not easy convincing players to come in on minimum deals, especially to a team that hasn't proven it can win or develop depth. Let's be real. Some players are always going to choose a team like New York over Indiana if money is similar. And long term, that's what makes the situation look even worse. The only reason the Fever aren't at the bottom of the league right now is because they hit the lottery, literally, with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. Without them, this is a completely different conversation. Yes, this team could win games, maybe even 30, but as an organization, they're still not a destination. Veterans aren't lining up to go there. It's not automatically a boost your brand situation for everyone. It depends on who you are. For stars like Caitlin Clark, sure. For others, not so much. Meanwhile, you look at teams like the Phoenix Mercury. They're doing exactly what the Fever should have been doing. Smart drafting, stashing international players, developing talent overseas, and bringing them in later on cheap deals. That's how you build depth without killing your cap. That's how you survive in this league. But Indiana didn't do that, and now they're stuck. Because at the end of the day, this comes down to one simple reality. They don't have the money. They cannot afford both Kelsey Mitchell and Lexie Hull under the current structure. So they made a choice, and that choice was Lexie Hull over Kelsey Mitchell. That's where things stand.